Folks, can you believe the stuff that they had people doing during this here Benjamin virus or pandemic, or as some people call it, the corona virus pandemic? Well, the guru refers to it as Benjamin pandemic, and if you looked at my video before this, was it or was it not a pandemic? You can see that why he calls it that. But anyhow, the first thing that after they got it started, and they come along, and first they said they got that Dr. Fuchie, Dr. Fouchie, don't remember him. They got him up there, and he told everybody you didn't need to wear no mask. Well, Guru believed that because I could never see why it was going to work anyway. But then he said he lied. That he really needed to wear a mask because he just lied because he didn't want everybody to go out and buy him a mask and use up all the masks so the hospital people wouldn't have none. But the hospital people, yeah, I could see where they would need them because they do deal with sick folk all the time. But they don't take them home with them, folks. They take them with gloves and they take them off and they put them in a red bag called a hazmat bag and they burn them. But then on old Fouchie, he said after they got enough masks made up so they could get some more Benjamins, that you need to wear one. Well, the guru gonna refer to it as a face diaper because that's pretty much what it was. And I looked at that as well, the air coming out of this thing, and you breathing air in, so such stuff can go through it. So it's not like it couldn't get through there because this little fella be a little tiny thing, and you got to have one of them zooped up microscopes to see the booger. So what we're gonna keep it from going through the mask? They could, nothing to keep it going through because, like I said, air go out and air come in. But let's say, for argumentative purposes, it did. It just got on the mask and stayed there, and it just there. But and then these people take the mask off, hang it on their mirror, let it drop all over their car, get it on their hands, take it home, and give it to their family. And some of their family might have some, complicated disease, ailments that would affect them worse if they got a cold or even got any virus. And but they did. That's what was happening, and folks were just throwing this stuff all over the place because they could go to them Benjamin box stores and spend their money there because there weren't no virus in them stores because they closed them down to the virus. Told virus you can't go in the big box stores, you can't go in them chain grocery stores. Them one we're gonna leave open. Well, then old Dr. Fouchie he come along and said, well, one ain't enough. You need to put on two face diapers to be protected. But that was even numbered in the first one because at no time did he ever say you need to put on goggles and earplugs to keep it from getting in your eyes or your ears. That told the guru right there all this was just so they could look out there across the country and say, look at all them idiots wearing diapers. So, but the guru never did wear no diaper because they couldn't prove to me it worked. They people wearing them, and I knew that they told me, hey, I caught the virus. Well, how'd you catch it? You wearing a diaper? Well, I got it, and it is what it is. Then they come up with the one that really, the guru just kept shaking his head every time he seen them there marks on the floor. Come up with this social distancing, where you got to stand 6 foot apart, and they actually put little marks, either write 6 foot or make a line and make a circle with a six in it, so you know where it was at. They didn't want you to have to get no tape measure out or I guess measure, and you're supposed to stand on those. And if you were going into the cash register there, you had to wait till the one in front of you got off of his, and then you could go up to his. That was the rule they had there. And Guru never did stand on one of them marks because, like I said, he's kind of a maverick, and they didn't tell me why that would work. I mean, did the little bug can only go 5 foot 10 inches and die? Did they do any research on it? Did they take any of it in a controlled environment and chunk it out there and see how far it could fly? No, they didn't do none of that. But they just come up with this 6 foot thing. But later on, they said, well, that really didn't do us any good. We just want to see if you idiots would stand 6 foot apart. That's about all it was because they admitted that it didn't do any good because the little bug could go 14, 15 foot. They didn't figure nobody was going to go for that. So they figured, hey, well, maybe we can get them to stand 6 foot apart. And they pretty much did. Now, it was amazing to the guru how many people, and if you got up there off of that line, they had the 6 foot police would throw you out of the store. And the guru got thrown out of a couple of them, I have to admit, but he never did stand that 6 foot apart. Then the third thing that really let the guru know that this really wasn't a pandemic and it wasn't as bad as they made out was after they had shut down all the small stores and restaurants and people lost their livelihood, these folks started protesting in the streets. Hundreds and thousands of people all across the country protesting, walking hand in hand, screaming and hollering, shooting out that germ everywhere. And that was okay. Somebody said something about it on TV, and they said, hey, that's their right to go out there and protest. We can't stop that. But they could stop you from being pursuing your dreams and pursuing your happiness, but they couldn't stop that. But they told you you couldn't run your business. You got to stay in a house. You go out there and burn streets, burn houses down and stuff, and that was okay. You know, the virus, evidently the virus didn't like protests, I guess is the only thing I can figure. And that's what they figured. That, virus stay away from them protests because virus be scared of them protests. But I think that's what kind of blowed up the lockdowns and stuff that they had going on because they kind of hard to justify it when you're out there yourself. You know, you're the guy saying we're gonna lock you down, but you're out there with your fist in your air and you're armed and armed with somebody else walking down the street and, like I say, hollering and screaming and all that, and the virus just floating everywhere. But that was okay. But I think that's why the lockdown kind of stopped. Now, if you tune in later, the guru gonna go over a few more of these interesting things that happened during this here pandemic, or was it a pandemic? Y'all have a wonderful day, and don't forget to go subscribe to the channel.